Welcome to the Gray Area. It's your man Kevin Gray of 105.3 The Fan. Appreciate everyone subscribing to my YouTube channel right here at Kevin Gray Sports. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel here. And you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, also at Kevin Gray Sports. The Dallas Mavericks get a 112-98 win over the Orlando Magic as Luka Doncic gets his 27th career triple-double, 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists. But it was Michigan night in Dallas, as Josh Richardson put it, as he was missing the game, along with Dorian Finney-Smith and Jalen Brunson due to health and safety protocols, as your man Tim Hardaway went for 36 points, and former Michigan teammate Trey Burke went for 29 of his own to combine for 65 points between the two of them. And the Dallas Mavericks' two shooting stars allowed them, especially in the third quarter, to really be able to put the Orlando Magic away, getting themselves a 10-point lead after three quarters. The game got off to a little bit of a slow start for both teams, especially in the first quarter. The Dallas Mavericks and the Orlando Magic struggled from the field. For the Orlando Magic, they did start 5 of 5, but cooled off after that. But it was in the second half where things got interesting for the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks missed their first 9 shots of the third quarter, and in the first 6 minutes and 2 seconds didn't even score a bucket. But then in the final 5 minutes and 58 seconds, they scored 26 points, and I should go back. The Mavs scored a total of 3 points in the first 6 minutes and 2 seconds. The final 5 minutes and 58 seconds, they scored 26 points to have a 29-point third quarter, and that was buoyed by Tim Hardaway Jr., who had 16 points on 6 of 8 shooting in the third quarter alone, 16 of those 36 coming in that crucial third quarter. And that was really the basketball game. The Orlando Magic's inability to stop the Dallas Mavericks from the three-point line, and then the Mavericks going 20 of 40 from downtown, the most made threes they've had all season long, while shooting at a 50% clip, the best also that they have shot all season long, really was able to stem the tide and turn the tide for the Dallas Mavericks to get their third straight win of the season to move to 5-4. This game was important, obviously, not just because of who they were missing, but why they were missing, and also what it meant for the next man up mentality that Rick Carlisle has talked about throughout this season that needs to happen. And more so than anything, another night where the Dallas Mavericks hold a basketball team under 100 points, and you're seeing the defensive consistency start to show up a little bit more for this basketball team. They did a terrific job on Terrence Ross, limiting him, even though Nikola Vucevic had himself a big night with 30 points of his own, but he was a -7 in the plus-minus category. So overall, the Dallas Mavericks did a good job in both sides of the basketball, defensively and offensively, which is important for this team to continue to show the consistency on both ends of the floor. And you're starting to see even Luka Doncic be much more competent on the defensive end with just sheer effort and will, and his willingness to get into passing lanes, to create deflections, to create steals, and more so on the defensive boards, where 10 of his 11 rebounds came on the defensive glass, which is important for the Dallas Mavericks to continue to outwork teams when it comes to rebounding the basketball, especially while Kristaps Porzingis is out, even though he may be coming back soon. Here's Luka Doncic last night talking about the importance of being a defensive rebounder. As I asked him why it's important for him to continue to crash the glass as far as a defensive rebounder is concerned to set the tone for his team. Here he is talking about that.
Part of your 11 rebounds tonight, 10 of those were on the defensive glass. How important is it for you to set the tone in terms of defensive rebounding to get the team out in transition and setting up offense for your team?
I mean, like I said, the first couple games, we had trouble with defensive rebounds. The last couple of days we were doing games, we were doing a better job, and that's how we got to keep going. Everybody got to rebound the ball and then just run.
So you see Luka Doncic understands the importance of being able to crash the defensive glass to get his team out in transition, to have the ability to set up things not only in transition but also in the half-court offense and facilitate offense the way that he's capable of. And his teammates' ability to knock down shots from the three-point line with the kind of regularity that they did against the Orlando Magic has been one of the hallmarks of this team, especially now over the last couple of seasons. It is worthy to note, though, that Tim Hardaway can get on these kinds of streaks where he is feeling being aggressive as far as his shot making is concerned, and his ability to do so creates a different dynamic for the Dallas Mavericks with respect to their consistency from shooting the three-point line and how aggressive they can actually be in getting after teams. Here's Tim Hardaway talking about his aggressiveness and what happened in that third quarter. As I asked him what was going and transpiring in that third quarter to get himself going as far as his offensive game is concerned. Here's what he had to say after the game against the Orlando Magic.
Hey, Tim, in that third quarter there, went for 16 of your 36 points in that quarter there. In the first 6 minutes, only scored 3 points. That last 5 minutes, 58 seconds, scored 26 points. Can you walk us through that momentum swing in the third quarter and how you were able to get your game going, especially from the three-point line?
I think it was just coming out of the timeout, man. It's just something about seeing one of those shots going in and feeling the rhythm of the game. And when that mid-range jumper went down, coming off that screen, I kind of already knew that I had it rolling. I just need to see one go in the third quarter, and from that point on, the ball was just rolling.
So Tim Hardaway remaining aggressive with respect to his offensive game, seeing that first shot fall really opened up the floodgates for him to be able to have the kind of game that he did. And I'm not saying that Tim Hardaway has to go off for 36 every night or has to do so in the kind of way that he did, shooting the ball at the high rate that he did. But he does have to provide the kind of consistent scoring to be the third option on this team while the Dallas Mavericks are in search for one going into next year. And, of course, it's interesting because Tim Hardaway is on a contract year, and the amount of sacrifice that he has made in his game so far this year, whether it be coming off the bench or in the starting lineup, and him alluding to it post-game also, whether or not he's in either the starting lineup or coming off the bench, he's going to get starters minutes, which means he's going to be in the basketball game at the most important times when the Mavericks need him. And just like he did against the Orlando Magic, knock down shots at a high rate to really give his team a boost. And then there's Trey Burke. Trey Burke has remained professional throughout his time in Dallas and continued to stay ready and took advantage of his opportunities with his ability to hit the ball from the three-point line also, with 29 points and going 7 of 8 from downtown in an 11 of 13 shooting performance against the Orlando Magic.
A really good first half, but, once the second half starts, that first half is gone. You know what I mean? And like you said, the first unit, who we are usually leaning on to bring the intensity, bring the energy to make that push. They were struggling a little bit at the time. Orlando had made their push, and we came in and I think we picked the intensity up on defense, and I tried to pick up full court. And I think it's little things like that your teammates see that they try to feed off that we fed off of tonight. And our defense, our offense was basically a result of our defense. We start putting a string of stops together and things, start going our way.
Trey Burke is going to continue to get his opportunities as an instant scorer off the bench, and you'll see him at times being able to really get on some hot streaks and really shoot the ball from distance really well. And it seemed like the basket was as big as an ocean for him as he was able to get going and being able to fill it up from the three-point line. So again, when the Dallas Mavericks are defending on the defensive side of the basketball, hitting shots at a high rate, especially from distance, there's not a lot of teams that can beat this basketball team. And more so than anything now, especially over the last 3 games, you're seeing the consistent rhythm that this team is starting to place themselves in, getting themselves healthy and continuing to get their legs under them. There were questions at the beginning of the season about Luka Doncic and his conditioning and whether or not he was going to be able to get himself together with respect to that. Those questions have been answered, and he's now had 2 triple-doubles in his last 3 games and nearly had another one in a 38-point performance against the Denver Nuggets, where he also had 5 steals in the basketball game, becoming the first NBA player to have at least 38 points, 13 assists, 9 rebounds, and 5 steals in a game. No one had ever done that until Luka Doncic did it against the Denver Nuggets. So all the questions about Luka Doncic and his conditioning, those things have been answered. But more so than anything, the supporting cast around Luka Doncic will have to continue to remain consistent because I've said it before and I'll say it again. This team needs a second wing scorer that can go get his own bucket night in and night out when Luka Doncic is not either on or needs some of the scoring load taken off of him. he was able to get that at least for one night from two different guys who were filling it up from the three-point line, and Tim Hardaway Jr. and Trey Burke, which is paramount to what the Mavs need to do. Maxi Kleber will continue to be in this lineup as a versatile defender and knock down key shots when he's able to do so. Willie Cauley-Stein bringing the paint resistance that we've seen from him in the last several games to be a consistent defender. But this team is going to have to collectively team rebound. They're going to have to shoot the ball well from the three-point line and make a true commitment on the defensive end, starting with Luka Doncic, to give teams problems and give themselves a newfound identity aside from the one that they have already as a great offensive basketball team. And as they do and continue to share the basketball, this team is going to find themselves competing in a lot of basketball games and winning a lot of those games, especially once Kristaps Porzingis comes back. So you like what you've seen in these last three games from the Dallas Mavericks with respect to what they are showing on the defensive side of the basketball first, holding teams under 100 points, getting into passing lanes, creating transition in terms of their turnovers, and then also on the offensive end, getting terrific performances from guys like Tim Hardaway, Trey Burke, and others who are contributing to the scoring load for Luka Doncic, even when he's having an off night like he did against the Orlando Magic, only shooting 7 of 20 from the field, but still wound up having a triple-double. And that is how special Luka Doncic is. Despite going 7 of 20, he found a way to ensure that he was getting his teammates involved. At one point, he had scored or assisted on 27 of his team's 41 points at one stretch. That's the greatness of Luka Doncic, to be able to find ways to contribute to the game even when his scoring isn't coming through on a particular night, and yet he still wound up with 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists for his 27th career triple-double. Just special stuff from Luka Doncic, who won't turn 22 until February. So the Dallas Mavericks get themselves their third straight win over the Orlando Magic. They will take on the New Orleans Pelicans next when they welcome Zion Williamson and, of course, Lonzo Ball. And maybe we see the return of the Kristaps Porzingis unicorn sometime here very, very soon. We shall see. But for now, the Dallas Mavericks are putting together a little bit of a win streak as they continue to improve in the tough Western Conference.